Is Space Marine 2 too good to be true? My recent upload that I put up on the channel today that brings everybody over here for the discussion, I basically outlined all of my concerns about this game. Now, largely that is not really based on the Space Marine 2 leak. I know that that was on like weaker hardware. It was basically on like a gaming laptop, but I did hear from somebody else who had like hands-on with it. So make sure and check out that upload. I walk through situations with the beta, optimization, the preview event. So that is all in that video. And then whenever we do a video like that, it premieres on the channel. You can be there for the chat. Before that video goes live, I hang out with the members in a segment we call Morning Coffee. So if you are a member, make sure you are there for that as well. People were in the chat sort of, you know, chatting about that premiere, giving their feedback, leaving comments. I'll read some of those comments in this live stream. It's an opportunity for me to kind of throw out an opinion, throw out an upload, you know, video, and then discuss it with the live audience. So be sure to hit subscribe and the bell button on the channel. That way you don't miss out on the content in those uploads. That way you can know what I think. And now it's time to hear what you think. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for that consistent support of the channel, you guys tuning in every day for those premieres for Morning Coffee. Yes, I have seen the latest Xbox controller, the Deadpool controller with the booty cheeks on it. It looks hilarious. I need that controller, not so much because I want to be touching cheeks when I'm holding the controller, but because it's Deadpool, right? And you guys know I love Deadpool. But you know, we'll see. I think they're having a contest. They're not actually selling it, which is a bit of a bummer. That's a bit of a bummer. But I'm curious what you guys think about this one, because this is one of my more anticipated games. Like it's near the top of the lists that I have. Because honestly, it looks incredible. And I've said since one of the very first trailers, I was like, that looks too good to be true. Absolutely no way that it's going to be able to run that well and have all those enemies on screen. And then they sort of talked about how their swarm engine, you know, enables them to have all those enemies on screen at the exact same time. So if the charging cable isn't a strap-on, it's a fail. I don't think they're going to go that lewd with it, Eugene. I don't think they're going to go that far. So I think it's good to play the first. Yeah, people are asking, should you check out the first Space Marine? Do you need to be a big Warhammer fan to enjoy this? Obviously, the first Space Marine is one that I know people really, really love. Somebody requested that I play it once on this channel a very long time ago. And I enjoyed my limited time with it. It does not look like a game where you're not going to need to like go back and, you know, play all of the classics, play all the originals. So Han shot first, and so did you, Captain Toasty Buns, with the first member of the day. You guys are well on your way. You already have 209 members for the week. The goal is 500, and then I got to play a scary game on Friday night, and we also do those stretch goals where my wife can mess with me. So don't miss out on those Friday night streams, especially if you are a member. If you're a member plus or higher, so member pluses and VIPs, you guys definitely should celebrate those renewals during the stream now. We give you the opportunity to actually move the goal. That is something that we do. And Frickmas in July, don't forget, we brought back Frickmas on a limited run for you guys. ReforgeRoast.com is back up and running. And get a sub, gift a sub, that's right. And you guys can check that out later or now. And then I do like to shout out those. We like to shout those out. We like to shout out those people that order that coffee. So when you do it, make sure you fill out that username field so that I know who ordered it. And thank you so much, Joker Quinn, for gifting a member. Appreciate you so much. I'm going to add that to the total as well. Joker Quinn, one of the single gifted masters around here. We appreciate you so much. And looks amazing, but I doubt it will run at 60 FPS. That's my biggest concern anytime I'm playing a game like that. Like, I don't care if it looks pretty. I don't care if it has great graphics and lighting. If I can't get 60 FPS, I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in playing what I view to be inferior old-gen performance. It's pointless. Was there something that came out that makes you concerned it will be bad? I'm not arguing that it will be bad. No, my concern is specifically with performance. The very first trailer, I said that looks too good to be true. There was so much going on screen. The graphics were so impressive. I was like, dude, I don't know. And then the capture event that was like 10 months ago, SkillUp said there were performance issues, but he was confident they would get it optimized. Then they canceled their beta and said they're focused on optimization. Then there was the leak. They're claiming that that's an old build. I was told otherwise. Somebody who got their hands on it is like, no, it's actually dated this year. And it wasn't running particularly well, even on stronger rigs. The guy that made the video was running it on like a 3060 mobile, gaming laptop. Purple Haze with a $10 super chat tip says, do you think we're going to get another Cyberpunk situation? I heard the game has gone gold, so the dev team must be working on a day one patch at this time. Have they gone gold? I don't know if they ever said that. Space Marine 2 gone gold. I don't know if that's been announced. Let's see here. Space Marine 2 has gone gold 1 week ago. I'm seeing that here on Reddit. Now, hang on. I'm not seeing anybody else claim this. Let me go to the Reddit thread and see what exactly they're using to claim this. They're linking to Twitter. And, Focus Entertainment officially announced it. You are correct. Yes, Space Marine 2 has gone gold. Your Eternal service starts on September the 9th. So there you go. Yeah, it has gone gold. They did announce, though, that they're not doing their beta. They were going to do a beta, and anybody who basically signed up for it can get like a skin. My main concern would be that they're canceling the beta because they want to focus on optimization. And to me, that's a concern to be this close and to be like, yeah, we don't even want to do a beta. We got to focus on optimization, right? And Vote Naturalized Citizen Crusader with a $5 super chat says, Warhammer Space Marine gameplay looks similar to Gears of War series. Also, I'm hearing a rumor that the new Gears of War may launch on PlayStation 5. I am not putting a lot of stock into that recent theory. I actually think we have other reasons to believe that Gears will be multi-plat, and I don't think it's that job posting. I do not think that job posting is indicating what people are extrapolating from it. So if you guys didn't see, there was a job posting for the next Gears of War game that said they wanted somebody with experience with Xbox Live, PSN, Steam, and other live networks or something like that. It was some kind of phrasing like that. And to me, that doesn't indicate that they're trying to get somebody who could do cross-play or interact with PSN. They were looking for somebody who had experience with like that type of work. Like if you read the phrasing, I don't think it supports the theory of like what everybody is saying. Now, I think there are other whispers, rumors, and insiders that make me think, yeah, the next Gears is probably going to be multi-plat. I don't think any of the major franchises coming from Xbox first-party studios, I don't think they're going to be exclusive anymore. I think that idea is gone. I think that's largely being driven by Satya Nadella and Microsoft. That's not port begging. That's not saying that like, oh, this is great. I'm just telling you that's what I think's coming with that brand. I don't think that that job posting is an indication of that, though. I think people are misinterpreting that job posting. That's my personal opinion on it. They want a networking engineer who's worked with the gaming space. Yeah, that's basically it. They want somebody who's worked in, networking engineering fields. And they're like, yeah, if you've got experience in any of these areas, that would be great. That's what they're looking for. EA would probably be nice to introduce new people to the franchise. Yeah, I definitely see similarities between Space Marine 2, Space Marine 2 and Gears, but it still feels like its own game. I don't get it doesn't feel like you're going to be doing a lot of cover-based movement in Space Marine 2 like the way that you would in a Gears of War. I actually feel like Space Marine 2 is sort of a blend of Helldivers and Gears of War, which I celebrate that. I think that sounds awesome. I think it sounds like a good time. It looks like a good time. My main concern from the very beginning, from the very first trailer I saw of Space Marine 2, I've been saying this for a long time. I'm like, I just don't know if it's going to run that well. That looks like a game where they overshot on fidelity, enemy density, speed, all of the things are going to let you do that level of intensity moment to moment. I think it's just going to be really hard for them to maintain performance. They want a networking engineer. Oh, I already read that. You don't need PlayStation to play PlayStation. Imagine console killed. Yeah, I mean, we knew that was coming. I think people are rehashing things that we already knew. I think people are rehashing. I'm not throwing shade at anybody who's like running with headlines about, oh, you don't need an Xbox. That's not the first time they've said that. That's not a new development. That's part of Xbox's new push, to be more of an ecosystem than a platform. And yeah, that doesn't seem like a barn burner to me. They've made it clear that's where they're going. Gears E-Day will be on PS5 in my opinion because it's the first release that can be multi-plat on next gen, and it would attract gamers to Xbox if they want more. E-Day is fan service on the lore. I love it. To be fair, they did get World War Z running on the Switch. World War Z runs at 72060 on the S. Right. I'm not saying they can't get it to run, but did World War Z look like this, right? To me, it's a combination of the graphical fidelity as well as the number of enemies on screen. And then you add into that the explosions, the particle effects when you're shooting them, the player movement, again, fidelity. If you look at the lighting, if you look at the shadows, if you look at the level of detail that they've put into the game, I don't know. It's hard for me to look at that and be like, oh yeah, that's going to run great on console. I was told that it wasn't running that well on a pretty decent PC, on a pretty good rig, a rig that you could argue is stronger than the consoles. It was like between 60 and 70 FPS, but they were running it at like 1080. You know what I mean? It's like, ugh, it ain't going to look that good at 1080. Like, to me, 1440 is the sweet spot, I don't mind if you do internal 1080 and you upscale. I think upscaling technology has gotten very, very good. What's a pretty good rig? A pretty good rig would be a 3070, 5950. So, that's not a terrible rig, That's not a monster, but that's also not bottom of the barrel either. I think it's a good game, says Elemental Hero. The thing is, the Warhammer community accepts it with the previous news on Warhammer from them, the previous news on retconning the lore, story and other things. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Nice job with the upload. I enjoyed how it was candid and relaxed. Yeah, I tried a little bit of a different approach with that upload. I was trying to be a little less read. It makes it a little easier for me to write a script if I don't have to write every single line. So I wanted to try that out. I wanted to feel a little bit more like the live shows. Ant left a comment on the upload today. Guys, don't forget, leave comments on those uploads. I read through those on the live stream. He says, I'm a huge 40K fan, so I'll probably jump in day one. Hopefully it runs okay on the PS5. Yeah, hopefully. That's the cause for concern right now is, that they've canceled their beta. They had optimization issues at the event, the capture event. They wouldn't let people use their own recorded footage, and now we've got a leaked version of the game that doesn't look like it's running all that well. And they're claiming that it was like a year old. I don't think that that's true. Based on what I've seen, it's a fairly recent build. I'm working on a PC build. TY Stonefire for the assistance. There you go. Do we know what kind of upscaling or frame gen might be in the game? No, we do not. I'm not familiar with the Swarm engine. That's the engine that they're using. And we'll see. It's literally designed around their ability to do like swarming technology, making a ton of enemies swarm into an area. That was something that Skill Up really highlighted. He said it just really does feel incredible that they have that level of density of enemies. The controller comes with a controller. That's weird. More of the story is spend $3,000 on a PC. Right. I wouldn't go under a 7600, 6750. I think it was my favorite beginning combo. I have a pretty good PC rig, so it won't be bad for me, but console could pose a problem. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the issue, is that a lot of people are going to be playing this on console, and it's like, I don't want another game to come to market to continue this stupid narrative of like 60 FPS just isn't possible. And it's like, no, it is possible. I have a significantly longer list of games that hit 60 on next-gen consoles than games that don't. There are far more that do than don't. There's a very small list of those that don't. Some of those that didn't got an update, and now they do, which disproves the idea that you can't do it. They did it with Plague Tale. They did it with Starfield. They did it with Redfall, proving that this 60 FPS is not possible or too hard thing is just simply not true. It is possible. It just needs to be a priority. It needs to be something that the game developers prize. And that's a concern I have with Space Marine 2. It's like I look at the gameplay and it's like, yeah, you guys really prize a lot of the things that work directly against performance and 60 FPS. Elemental Hero says, basically the publisher of Warhammer is trying to retcon their storyline and lore because of the custodies. And Emeon and Arccast have covered the news on the retcon. I mean, this happens consistently with long-standing franchises, you know? Somebody decides to retcon something, change something, ruin something, whatever. Guys, we're only 15 minutes into the stream. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for the strong support. Take a second and smash that like button. And if you click the $ at the bottom of the chat, you may have a renewal to celebrate. If you're Member Plus or higher as a member, you get to add to the member goal. So don't forget to celebrate those renewals. We want to appreciate those who support the channel directly. If you can't afford a membership and you're getting a gifted, that counts too if people are gifting memberships. So thank you so much, everybody who is adding to the weekly and daily goals. Black Library has traditionally been good about respecting existing lore. Playing this game at 30 would be torturous. Yeah, I don't think you would want to play this game at 30. It would look bad. Kingdom Come 2 being 30 FPS is also a shame. Those 40 series, oh, you guys are talking hardware. Yeah, I mean, what exactly are they doing to the lore that has you so upset? There it is, Dumby Koala celebrating a member renewal. Thank you so much, Member Plus, jumping back in. Appreciate you, and we will add that to the count. Welcome back. If you guys are paying for your own membership, don't forget to upgrade to Member Plus. I can't count standard members when we do this because I can't tell if it's a gifted or not. So the only way to distinguish is you got to bump up to Member Plus. It's $1 more, but it does enable us to track that. And Trevin and Zach both renewing 23 months and 17 months. Thank you guys so much. People are mad that there are female soldiers in the game. Apparently the lore was all men. Oh, well, yeah, isn't that a part of the back story and lore? Whatever happened to the female custodes thing? Yeah, like, why would you change that? I mean, in the Wheel of Time, there are things that only men can do and women can do. It's great fantasy. I mean, that's part of making a world and stories is you create those things. You create those trends. A VIP from Dirge hitting a month. Now I have to climb back to the gold badge. Well, I wish I could fast track you, my friend. Thank you so much for doing a VIP. Welcome back in. Appreciate you so much. And then Louis Love renewing a Member Plus and taking us to 5. Setting up a nice dunker. We will see. We will see if anybody drops that 20 bomb. Nice setup there with the 5 out of 25. If FPS wasn't so important, the FPS shooters that are competitive wouldn't be trying to get as much FPS as possible on PC. Space Marine 2 looks absolutely amazing. I just hope they can deliver. I agree with you. I think it looks great. I think it looks like the exact type of couch co-op game I want. Now, it doesn't have couch co-op, but I got 2 PlayStations, so we would be able to set that up. The game looks awesome. Keyword look, says Kingslayer. He left a comment on the video. The red flags are there. The warning signs are in place. Do your homework and research first. It always pays off. And don't pre-order. Don't pre-order. Let the YouTubers and the let the YouTubers pre-order. And MASH takes the bait with the 20 bomb and takes us all the way to 25. The man himself sets it up with a couple renewals, getting us to 5, and MASH slams it home. If you guys just got a gifted membership from MASH, be sure to say thank you to MASH. And if you want to upgrade, it's $1 to upgrade to Member Plus. And when you do that, you do get to count twice in the member count for the day. So thank you so much for doing that, Mash. Just hijacking the chat with that member bomb. Holy moly. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you everybody who watched that upload this morning. We appreciate that so much. When you guys pile on those uploads in the morning, you leave those comments, you smash that like button, it does help out. We appreciate that so much. Those are the free ways to support the channel. There's so many things you can do to support what we do here every day. You hit like, you hit subscribe, you chat, you leave comments. So if you're hitting like right now, thank you for doing that. I'm staying optimistic that it'll be good because it's hard enough for 40K fans to get a good 40K game. It's one of those things where it's like they let so many people, and Behemoth comes in with the 20 bomb, just absolutely saying Agent of Chaos is mine to be had, and puts us on the doorstep of 50, keeping things going. We have a 20 bomb train. We'll see if anybody wants to jump in the ring with these two powerhouses, Mash and Behemoth. Let's see how long we can go. A 20 bomb train. Let's see how long it lasts. That would be a record for the channel. I don't know if we've ever had a train of 20 bombs. That would be crazy. If you guys want to increase your chances of getting a membership gifted to you, make sure you're here every day. You're chatting, you're liking, you're leaving comments. All of those things increase your odds of getting a gifted member. It shows that you're committed to the channel. We appreciate all of you that do it. Thank you so much. Mash and Behemoth. Behemoth says, Mash, I'm here. Gift me a membership as well. We don't have the ability to just click on your name and give you one. That's not something that's possible. So you'll have to just hang out long enough to get one. Make sure you have the gifted memberships toggled on. Titled Worlds, though. Part 1. Could be connected. I think that No Man's Sky Worlds update, I don't know. I think it's connected, chat. I think it's connected. I think it's connected to Light No Fire. Somehow. We'll see. Dawn of War 1 is the best 40K game ever made. If you guys are, big fans of 40K, right? If you're big fans of 40K and you have recommendations, like what would be in your mind, what would be the absolute best one to do? Like what's the best 40K game to jump in and play? Is there one that you think, no, this is a must play? If you're a 40K fan, if you feel like other people are missing out, what's the one 40K game that you would be like, no, you got to check this one out. This is the best one. It's such a fun but depressing universe, and it's about to blow up, says Zubair. Yeah, I mean, I think this game could put 40K, I don't want to say on the map. Been around for a long time. Everybody knows 40K, very popular. But I actually think it could put it on the radar of more players who have not really done much with 40K in the past. I'm one of those people. I've dabbled. I've played one or two here or there. There was a top-down 40K that I believe I played with my wife. I don't know if we played it all the way through. Tom is saying Space Marine 1. Dawn of War for sure, says Nick. Gladius, Dawn of War, and Battle Sector. So we're getting some votes for Dawn of War. Depends on what kind of games you like, says Club. Actions, Game Space Marine. I think that was meant to be factions. Dawn of War 2 if you like RTS. Yeah, RTSs are weird with me because RTSs were some of the earlier PC games that I played. I would play StarCraft with my friend. We had really fun money maps, and we would play against the PC. I always thought that was enjoyable. I never really got big into the PvP elements of that game, of StarCraft. It was always, there was too many Zerg rushers back in the day. So RTSs just didn't really hook me. I got hooked by the shooters. I got hooked by, Doom and Quake and all of those. So that's why I look at Space Marine 2 and I'm like, yo, that game looks sick. Like, it looks really good. Magic Dolphin pushes us a little bit closer to 50, renewing that VIP. Welcome back, Magic Dolphin. Thank you so much. Everyone our age played StarCraft, Lono. Every single one of us. It was a rite of passage. That's right. And every single one of us got Zerg rushed at some point and just walked away. Real King Salty says, regarding the stink of the genders in the game, the custodies. Custodies. How am I supposed to say that? That's a weird word. Anyway, are specifically men. There are what are basically uber women soldiers called the Adepta Sororitas. They really like Latin, I can tell, who are objective badasses, and some even have the ability to become a living saint. So there are, I'd never understand why they would want to do that with lore. If you have women that can be awesome, you don't need to, like, that would be like going into the Wheel of Time and being like, well, we want to be equal, so there's a man, Aes Sedai. It's like, huh? Custodies? Which emphasis? Last attempt was correct. Custodies. That sounds terrible. Custodies? Which syllable do you emphasize? Sisters of Battle. Rogue Trader is dope. I heard it as Custodies. Do you emphasize stowed? Custodies? Good night. I used to try my Zerg rushing with ghouls in Warcraft 3, and people used to get so mad because Undead was supposed to be worse at rushing, so people didn't prepare for it. You and Madam can play this co-op. Very Diablo 3-like with guns. Is that the one we played? My wife and I played one, Inquisitor. No, that's not the one we played. I know my wife and I played a Warhammer top-down, and we were, like, shooting, and I feel like it was... Maybe it was an Orcs Must Die game. Maybe it wasn't a Warhammer game. I swear I played a game like that, and I thought it was a Warhammer game, because I feel like she could get, like, a sword and slam the ground in front of her when they got too close, and we would get, like, these cool guns. There were these cool chain guns and stuff that you could get. I don't really remember now. Finished Acolyte finale last night. Some nice high points in the show, but overall my least favorite that Star Wars Disney has done. Yeah, I saw a couple scenes. Yeah. Flat writing and flat acting. We don't even need to get into the questionable decision making with other things that they've done. Yeah, just all over the place, man. I don't even care anymore. I truly don't care anymore. Custodies nuts. Owlcat has taken great pride in Rogue Trader. Vermintide. Was it Vermintide? Try saying supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Yeah, I can say that, but I can't say custodies or whatever the frick it is. Been waiting 22 years for Warcraft 4, hoping for just another 22 years before it's out. Is that the one we played? No, it wasn't Vermintide. It was older than Vermintide. Vermintide's fairly new and doesn't have the greatest reviews, right? 2019. I swear it was before I was a streamer, so it would have been like 2011, 2012. Vermintide 1 and 2 are fun extraction, hack and slash games. Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. It was a Warhammer game. It was. And I can't remember the name of it. I don't even remember what would Henry Cavill think about all this. He would be very kind to me. He would say that it's okay that I don't know how to say it. Do we know what the performance is like for Space Marine 2? Well, currently, the performance for the game is what we're concerned about. That's my primary concern. I think the game looks awesome. I think the game it got great previews from people that played it, but the Space Marine 2 previews did not let them use their own recorded footage. They had to use B-roll. There were performance issues at the time. They canceled their beta to focus on optimization. And then there was a recent Space Marine 2 leak where the gameplay is looking a little on the rough side with respect to performance. Not looking the greatest. Now, people are like, well, the guy that played it was playing on a 3060 mobile gaming laptop. Okay, well, I had somebody speak to me. They played it on a stronger card, and they were getting 60 to 70 FPS, but the game was running at 1080. Apparently, it uses a lot of VRAM as well. It just doesn't sound like it's been optimized all that well. How's only going to know something he doesn't know yet? There's no shame in that. He's willing to learn. Also, he struggles pronouncing basic English, so let's give him some space. That's right. Some Warhammer FPS came out fairly recently, and it was crap. I don't know if it's the same dev. The IP gets rolled out a lot. Yeah. The one recently was... I swear we played it. Didn't we play it on... Did we play it on a Friday night? Dark Tide. That was 2 years ago. Yeah, we played Dark Tide gameplay, and it was not very good. Dark Tide Steam. Warhammer Dark Tide on Steam is currently sitting at a mixed score, 67%. Yeah, that sounds about right. That tracks with where I experienced it. I didn't like it. I can write a review for it. I guess that's where I played it. I didn't know that that's where I played it. Let's see how long I played it. I think I just played it for that afternoon on stream. I don't even see it in my Dark Alliance I played. Yeah, I don't see it even in my collection. Maybe I played it somewhere else. I don't know why it's letting me write a review for Dark Tide. I don't see it in my Steam library. Oh, I might have refunded it. That's probably why. I probably refunded it, which means it would not be I guess it does it show up in your library if you uninstall and refund a game? I'm not familiar with that, whether or not that happened. Anyways, yeah, Dark Tide didn't get the greatest score. I remember being garbage on the Series S. Skill Up liked it. That was what I found kind of funny when he was doing his video about Space Marine 2. He was like, no, yeah, I kind of like it. I'm sorry, he liked Dark Tide. Super Tajito with 25 months on Member Plus. Is this how you celebrate a member renewal? If so, done. Loving the show as usual. Yes, that is how you celebrate a renewal. And if you are on a Member Plus or higher, you get to bump the member goal. That's 47 members on the day. Thank you so much. Just tried it on an ARC A7700, 2560, 1440, and it was definitely playable. Okay, I'm not asking if it's playable. I'm talking about, like, was the performance consistent? Can you get 60 FPS, right? Digital Foundry says Concord's like Overwatch meets Guardians of the Galaxy with a solid technical foundation via the Unreal Engine 5. Wait, Concord's Unreal 5? Can that's something to celebrate, right? That's something to celebrate if that's an Unreal 5 game. I thought it ran really well. I didn't have any issues at all with Concord's performance. What's your background? I'm Cherokee and Finnish Swedish. I can pronounce native languages with ease. I mean, my background is that I'm a white guy. Like, I don't know what my background is. I'm usually really good with pronunciation of other languages. I always got compliments when I was down in like Mexico and I was speaking Spanish. They said that I did the accent well. My pronunciation was good. My Korean friends say that my Korean pronunciation is good. I can't read words if I don't know what the origin is, what the pronunciation style is, like a made-up word or Latin words. Like, I don't think anybody knows how to say Latin, right? They just go for phonetic pronunciation. So Monty Mole with 16 months says, let's go. Welcome back. Thank you so much. By the way, if you guys want your renewals to count toward the goal, it's got to be a Member Plus or higher. I can't do non-Member Pluses because I don't know if it's a gifted or not. That would mean that gifted could double dip, because when you get a gifted, you can celebrate, just like Therapy Quantified just did with the 5-bomb and takes us to 52. Thank you so much. Once you give me the pronunciation of a word or a language, I can generally remember how to say it. But, you know, all these weeb names in chat and stuff, I never know how to say that stuff. You know what I mean? You say automaton real fast. Thanks. Yeah. Automaton. Yep. Get an ancestry DNA test. I'm just a bunch of stuff. The last time I asked my family, my parents and my older relatives, we've got like German, Irish, we've got it all. I'm a mutt. I mean, that's okay. I think that's cool. I also think it's cool if you're like You know, I had a friend who was Kenyan, and he was awesome. And you were like, yep, he's definitely a Kenyan, you know. He was really, really tall, really, really strong. He was infuriating to go to the gym with, you know. He's just like, you know, the doctor said I need to work out. Oh, really? You don't work out? Okay, cool. It's like very defined, toned arms, working out for the first time in his life. It's like, I think he was just like casually curling like 35s like it was nothing. He was like, all right, dude, get out of here. The rest of us are like doing everything we can to get the slightest bit of muscle definition. I don't say advertisement. No, I say advertisement. I don't say aluminium. I say aluminum. Yeah. People try to type the pronunciation out in text like it's going to help. It usually just confuses things even more. For sure. Yo, what's good, Feed? Good to see you in the chat. Yeah. I mean, usually phonetically I could figure it out. It's just emphasis. It's like I don't know where to put the emphasis. I don't know how to say that, you know. And then Google's not all that helpful. Like I'll go to Google for Korean words, and then my friend will be like, "Yeah, we don't really say it that way," because it's like Google will give you like the rough like literal translation, and he's like, "Yeah, we don't really say that," you know. So it would be like if somebody were to translate like a Spanish sentence into English like rigidly, it would be like, "That's the dog of Dave," instead of like, "That's Dave's dog." So like we don't talk like that. We're not like, "Oh yeah, that's the dog of Dave." We're like, "Huh?" But that's sentence structure in Spanish is usually, you know, the object of person. Here's a real Atreus. Yeah, I still struggle with Atreus because I always said it is Atreus. I don't know why. I just always said it is Atreus. I get so many comments on my one God of War short about that. They're like, "This man really said Atreus," and I'm like, and then with Skyrim, I always said Skyrim. Like whenever I played it with my friend, it was always Skyrim, not Skyrim. I don't know why. I don't know why I did that. I don't know. Maybe I heard somebody say it that way. It just happened. Back then, I didn't watch YouTube videos, so I didn't have some YouTuber to tell me how to say it. So, you know. Tecate? What is that? What word is that? Could be worse. Microsoft pronounces 60 FPS as 30 FPS. Yo, what's good, Takashi? How are you? My wife is Korean, and trust me, there is no messing up pronunciation. They will call you out in a heartbeat, and you need to know the difference between formal and informal speech. Yeah, like there's respectful ways to address people, you know, there's disrespectful ways, you know. If somebody's older than you, you add something to like the end of your formal greeting. You know, with like, you add like an ah at the end if you're like shouting or calling to like a kid, you know. Ooh. That was good. It could be worse. Microsoft pronounces 30 FPS as 60 FPS. There you go. I mean, they have a chance to turn that around though, MASH. Right? They have a chance to turn that around. This is actually a question that I have. Like, what are they going to do with multi-plat releases? Like, if Gears 6 really is multi-plat, recently there was a guy that was saying, like, yep, I've heard these games are coming, you know, Starfield and Indiana Jones and everything else. Now, remember, when Starfield got its update, I said, this looks like they're preparing it to bring it to PlayStation because the number of options they gave you in performance mirrored a lot of the options that you have in, like, first-party PlayStation games. I just wonder what that's going to look like. I don't think they even care. I really don't. I don't think Microsoft cares if, like, a game lands and performs better on PS5, right? I don't think they care. Like, everybody was already, you know, obviously very excited that, like, the first Descendant was running better on Xbox, but there's been a rash of games recently. Not even a rash of games recently. There's been a steady flow of games that run better on PlayStation, and then there were first-party games from Xbox that ran better on PlayStation, like Hi-Fi Rush. It's like, I don't think they care. I really don't. I think that's just going to be the standard going forward. Is they're like, well, yeah, it's easier to develop for that platform. And then what's the pros role in all of this, right? It's going to be very interesting. You're excited to switch to PlayStation, but is the controller good? I was talking about this with my cousin, because he hates that the D-pad and the joystick are swapped. Like, if you're used to Xbox, I remember having to adjust to this. I actually prefer this controller now. I despise the PlayStation 4 controller. It felt like it was designed for hamsters. Like, it was like, I do not have big hands. I'm not a large person. I'm a small framed, individual. That's a protected class, so don't make fun of me. And I always felt like the PlayStation 4 controller, it felt like my hands were having to like curl up because it was so small. I feel like the DualSense controller is a very comfortable size. But yeah, the position of the D-pad, I still to this day prefer the D-pad position of the Xbox controller. I do. It just feels more natural to drop my thumb down to the D-pad instead of raising my thumb to the D-pad. It just feels more natural. I don't know why. Maybe because I spent more time on an Xbox controller. When I got my PlayStation 4 Pro, I got an adapter so that I could continue using my Xbox controller in PlayStation games. So, as a woman, I love the PS4 controller. Yeah, I don't have large hands. I would look weird if I did. I'm like, did you get bigger hands amputated when you were younger or something? It would look weird, like they're proportionate to the rest of me. The controller size is reflective of the aging player base. I have a controller problem, 6 regular ones and 2 edge controllers. I have one DualSense with stick drift. One of my Joy-Cons just started getting stick drift, and my Xbox controllers, for whatever reason, always get stick drift, and I don't know why. It gets played less. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't get it at all. Definitely prefer the PS5 controller, and I'm used to the Xbox One as at this point. One has girly hands, petite things. I mean, I don't know if I would define them as girly or petite. They're just hands. My wish for the PS5 controller is slightly turning the feet outwards. Turning the feet outwards. Yeah, I don't know. I have big hands. I still have problems with the controllers. Yeah, I mean, if you have larger hands, I feel like the Xbox controller is just more comfortable. It's a larger controller. So, you never had stick drift? Pfft, you're lucky, man. Knock on wood. The joystick provider is the reason that it happens. They're all coming from the same dadgum place. So, yeah. They're all coming from the same place. And that's the issue. We need to get somebody to make Hall effect joysticks and become the next major distributor so that all of the companies start using them. That would be amazing. All right, let's see some comments here on the video. This morning I uploaded a video, Space Marine 2 Concerns. This guy says, I've seen a video of the leaked dev build yesterday. According to the author, optimization is pretty okay. Seemed rough with FPS, though, in my opinion. It looked rough with FPS. This guy says, from the leaks, looks fantastic, plays fantastic, seems to live up to the hype. It is a 1-year-old build that was running fine except for crashing on occasion, usually just on death. Keep seeing people happy with what they tried and saying that they will wait for the final build. Instead, because of how nice it was and wanting to experience the full experience in the final form. Have seen leak videos, and it does look great from what I've seen, looking like it may actually live up to the hype. Biggest issue was FPS in the footage that I saw. That's the biggest issue, is I felt like the FPS was inconsistent in the Space Marine 2 gameplay. In that Space Marine 2 leak, I was like, that looks a little rough. Which is, again, that's been my concern since the beginning. It's like you got so much on the screen, a lot of fidelity, a lot of lighting. Not trying to spoil things, this guy says, but I did try the leak build recently, which the dev says 1-year-old build, but looks good. Looks just like what they showed in the trailer. How was the FPS? I'm just going to straight up ask this guy. He tried the League build, so how is the FPS would be my question. Tall order. Shut up, Takashi. Microsoft even fired an entire team yesterday. Yeah, when that kept coming up, I kept telling people that there was no cause for concern. I kept saying that would take care of itself. If games were genuinely being ruined by, you know, the virtue signaling or the virtue grabbing, I said, look, this will take care of itself. And it seems to be already beginning to have taken care of itself. You know, they're walking people out the door. You know, makes sense to me. You know, makes sense to me. Another blip. Yeah, YouTube's been having issues with blips and stuff. Sorry that's been happening, guys. I'll drop the 10 members on chat that I owe. That can sometimes help. We always lose people when there's a blip. Take a quick second if you haven't already and smash that like button. That also helps out the stream. We tend to get a little bit punished. I might have already done my 5. I don't know if I owe you guys 10. That might just be bank error in your favor. But there you go. I don't think I did the 5 that I owed you because I feel like you guys quickly jumped us up to the 50s. So thank you so much for doing that. There's a 10 that I owe you. Take a quick second, smash the like button. Takashi, good to see you getting one. There you go, my man. Guys, if you do get a gifted membership, don't forget every morning we start with morning coffee. It's like 30 minutes before the video goes live or before we start the live stream, you know, before we start the day. So make sure you get into the Discord. Make sure you turn notifications on so you don't miss morning coffee. I have all 3 consoles, 3 controllers too, but PlayStation thumbstick place feels the best. I think sometimes it's just a matter of what you're used to. I was just more used to the Xbox controllers, so I still to this day wish that I could get a PlayStation controller. I want an official one. I don't want like an aftermarket one. I would love a PlayStation controller that put the thumbstick up here. I would love that. I don't think they're going to do that because I think they like the uniformity. But I really, really would. I would use this. This is the DualSense Edge. I would use the DualSense Edge if I could do that. I don't like the DualSense Edge because it's too heavy. It's not a comfortable controller to use because it's heavy. You know, oh yeah, you're weak. It's like, no, maybe. But that's not why. It's just like, I don't want to use a controller that feels like it's got, like, it feels like it's weighted. It literally feels like there's like a weight in the center of it. It's just strange. And especially if you plug it in, it's got this big honking adapter. Hang on a second. Look at this thing. Look at this. You want to plug it in? Look at the size of that. That's like not a normal cord. And I like that it like locks into place or whatever. But that makes it you literally feel like it's like pulling down when it's plugged in. Like it just does not feel good. Sadly. So, nice controller, nice form factor. I love the back paddles. I love where they land. Like if you use the small ones, I've got the small ones in there. Like where my hands rest, they just land right on those. Like it feels very natural. I don't really use back paddles, but if I did, I would like those. It's heavy. The heavy controller. So that has a tumor. Yeah, what is that? That's the DualSense Edge. That's how that's its cable. You don't have to use that cable. You could just use a normal one, I guess. You don't have to use that one. So. Do you even lift? No, I don't. I think I'm wearing out one of the paddle buttons on my Elite. I just use the cord without the adapter. Yeah. You definitely can just use a standard USB-C cable. You don't have to use that one for sure. How about my Edge yet? Very little stock. Ended up modding a couple of DualSenses. Xbox One controller feels amazing to use. I just buy like the standard Xbox controllers from Target anytime I need one. Like if we're at Target, I'm like, yeah, we need one. I had like 3 of the black ones. All go bad on me. It's so frustrating. All stick drift. Strangely for me, my issue with the Xbox controllers isn't the stick placement, it's the hardened jewel-style faced buttons. They irritate my thumb. Oh, really? I never felt that the buttons were an issue. I actually also like... Yeah, I don't like the thumbsticks on either the DualSense or the Xbox. I always had these adapters from Control Freak that were like... where they were concave. So they went in, and so your thumbs rested inside. I don't like when the thumbstick's like rounded up. What is that, convex? I do not like that. I always feel like your thumb's slipping off. Like if you have to hold, like if you're playing like a game where you're like holding in one direction a lot, I don't know, you're turning a lot or something. I feel like you're like holding, you're like, oh, my finger slipped off. You know, like maybe a game where you're like running from something directionally or something. I thought about buying a version 2 Xbox Core controller and just farming the return policy every few months. It's the bumpers. Oh, right. I had an Elite. I think the last Elite controller I bought, the last Xbox Elite controller I bought, right bumper went bad. Yeah. Yeah, but Worlds could be part of Light No Fire marketing. People, my Light No Fire video is getting a little bit of an uptick because people are like, you know, the No Man's Sky update that hit today. Everyone's going to be like, obviously rushing to that video, like, you were wrong. Well, if you watch the whole video, I said, you know, it could be something inside of No Man's Sky that leads to Light No Fire. So, I still think that's a possibility. I do. I don't think it's an accident that it's called Worlds, and just before they announce it, Sean mentioned Light No Fire. I mapped the bumpers of my Elite to the small paddles on the back, and it's lasted 3 times longer than my previous controller. Can't break the bumper if you don't use the bumper. Yeah, that's a decent strategy. I don't like how loud the Xbox controller... Yeah, I had somebody mention that once. And you know what was funny? I never noticed it until they said it. And I was kind of mad. I was like, well, thanks for saying it. Because now every time I use a controller, I hear the clicking. I hear the stupid clicking. The dumb, incessant clicking. So, you know. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Oh, man. Yeah, if you guys didn't see it, No Man's Sky got a free update today. Worlds Part 1. Be sure to check it out. Pretty cool that they continue to do that. Reevaluated everything. They changed the water and the planets again. Flintlock Siege of Dawn not getting good reviews. Not doing very well. In the 60s last I saw. Pretty unfortunate. DP Sage with 31 months and a VIP. Keep up the great work, bro. And yes, you are weak, but your wisdom is so strong. I guess it balances out. Hey, I'd rather be a wise man than a strong man. I appreciate that. Bumping the line of members to 53. Guys, double check. Double check that button at the bottom, that $ button. You might have a membership renewal to celebrate. If it's a member plus or higher, it counts toward the weekly goal. And right now, you guys were at 209. And the 53 puts you at 262. The goal for the week's 500. Oh, the score went down. Yeah, Flintlock's down to the 64. Played it, stopped after an hour, was disappointed. I told you guys the other day, I said when the demo was available and everybody used the same word. They said combat's clunky. I said you can't have a game like that and have the combat be clunky. When I played through Banishers for a couple hours, the combat was clunky in that, and it was a huge turnoff. And that wasn't even a combat-focused game. So, yo, Scognatius with 14 months, welcome back. Angry Joe, Rapid Fire, gave it a good review, called it God of War ER Light. Yeah. David Houdat with 5 months and a member plus bumps the line to 54. Thank you so much for doing that. You guys want your memberships to count in the daily goal or the weekly goal. Make sure and bump up to Member Plus. We have an upgrade command. It's supposed to be easy. It's not always easy, but the upgrade command will help you do that. 12-hour. It's $40 for a 12-hour main game. Sounds like it could be good. Probably because it's a Souls game. They gave Lies of P bad reviews. It's a great game. Flintlock isn't a Souls game, is it? Is it like Souls-lite? I don't think that it's a Souls game. I thought it was like action-adventure. Yeah, I mean, they're saying Souls-like on Steam, but it's action-adventure first. So it's probably... I don't think it's meant to be viewed as a Souls game, though. Oh, I mean, no, in their own description, Souls-lite. They called a light, but then they called a like. Like, hey guys, which is it? Up here says light, down here says like. What? It retains elements of the Souls-like genre and infuses it with rapid mobility, resulting in dynamic and explosive combat. Weave in melee, gunpowder, and magic in rhythmic battles where combos chain together to create a deadly dance. Use Nor's gunpowder abilities to exploit verticality to your advantage and deal death from above. Quickly recover from danger. I don't think that's why it's getting bad scores. If anything, if it's Souls influenced or Souls-like or light, and it's got clunky combat, that's going to turn people off. And don't tell me it's a small team. Timesia was a Souls-like or light, and it felt great, and the combat felt smooth and crisp. You know? Light and like. I think light means very light influence. Like would mean there's a lot more similarities, right? Isn't that... I thought we looked this up once before. Souls-like versus Souls-light. A Souls-like is a subgenre known with high levels of difficulty, emphasis on environmental storytelling, typical in the dark fantasy. Let's see if we can get a good answer from Reddit. Souls-like refers to a game similar or inspired by Souls games. Yeah, but what light? So is light means like it's like lightly influenced? Right? Rogue-like, rogue-lite, same thing, right? Rogue-like is fully or partially randomly generated. Rogue-lite, this is they've got it broken down here. People are saying light isn't a thing, and yet when you go to the Steam landing page, it certainly is. I mean, this guy on GameFAQs is saying rogue-like with the K, fully or partially randomly generated world where losing means restarting. Light with a T, fully or partially randomly generated world where you keep some kind of progression. So I don't know what the difference then would be between a Souls-like and a Souls-light. In my mind, just looking at the words, like would mean it's very similar to Souls games. Light with the T would be like, well, there's some light influence. Like a good example would be Sundered, which is an amazing game by Thunder Lotus. You guys should definitely check out Sundered. Awesome art style, very fun gameplay, amazing boss design. It's got Metroidvania elements. It's got Souls elements, sort of. That's an example of a light or a rogue-lite. Not Souls. Sorry, I got myself confused here. Rogue-lite. Sundered, you go back to the beginning, but kind of not. Yo, it's good, Raven. Good to see you. Your definitions are reasonable. Right, it just makes sense to me. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. Light is when the game is hard. Well, Flintlock is referring to itself as both, whatever that means, right? Their literal Steam page, they're describing their game as both. So try to figure that one out and then get back to me. Because that doesn't make any sense to me how you can be both. But, here we are. Roguelike is defined by the Berlin interpretation. There are 6 main parameters that make a game similar to the game Rogue. Oh, for Pete's sakes. Every modern Rogue has meta progression of some sort. They're all lights. Right, like, even Binding of Isaac, you get other characters and stuff. You know? Brotato, I'm unlocking other characters. I finally got to wave 20 in Brotato last night. I refused to adjust the settings, and I just keep using the normal one. Finally got to wave 20, and I couldn't take down the boss. I just got overwhelmed. I can't get a build where I dole out enough damage. I just can't. I had a really good build the one time, and you just get swarmed. This is off topic, but how well do you think New World will be received on console after this much time, given that ESO still seems to be the go-to MMO? I'm hoping it launches with very few bugs. Yeah, I think New World could do amazing on console because I think New World appeals to more casual players. I said from the very beginning that it felt like the mid-lane man's MMO. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like a game for the mid-lane player. You know, and to me, I think there's a draw there. I think there are more and more players that are going to feel that way. They're going to feel like I can't give this game my life, but I can give it, you know, maybe an hour or two a night. Damage is a bit weird in Brotato. I can't figure out. I read some strategy guides, not strategy guides, but like, okay, what am I doing wrong here? Is there a stat that I'm ignoring? And it did seem like the people that consistently won, they said that they would make sure they leveled up their health and armor. And I'm like, okay, I've definitely been ignoring that. And that did seem to help a little bit. I wasn't so lopsided, but still, I don't feel like I can dole out enough damage to stay ahead of how many enemies end up on the screen. Like, Vampire Survivors, you always can sense that you tip over into, now I'm untouchable. I just need to maintain distance and keep leveling and keep getting gems. Like, once you get Garlic high enough or Bible or something high enough to keep the enemies back, you're doing enough damage per second, you know, per intervals, to stay ahead of it. And I don't feel like I'm getting to that point in Brotato. I don't feel like I'm ever getting to a point where, like, oh, I'm stacked, I'm good to go. 1 or 2 waves will be like that, and then all of a sudden, like, they're getting too close, they're taking too long to die, and then I'm dead. You know, you circle the room, you try to navigate, but you end up with just, there's so many enemies, and there's so many of those red balls getting shot by those guys. It's like, it just becomes pure chaos, to where minimizing the damage is almost impossible. You just end up you just get overwhelmed. What weapons do you tend to use? I tend to try to have a mixture. I definitely try to have both. For the longest time, I wasn't using any melee, so I started adding melee, so that when you're running and you're running past enemies, you're constantly, you know, like you're getting 2 or 3 of them with a good swing. The jousting, whatever it's called, I guess you would just call it a joust. That one's pretty nice to have in conjunction with one where my fire rate goes up if I stand still. So I stand still, my fire rate's going crazy. If I have to move, I have a melee that's stronger when you move. I feel like that's a pretty good combination. So maybe I should use the guy that can equip like 12 weapons, and that might help get a good balanced build between melee and shooting. If you focus on a weapon type, it can give you boosts. I've gotten to the final wave, or 18 or 19, Zuby, and I've had 3 red weapons. I've had like 3 red weapons at the end, and I'm still not strong enough. I had a red SMG, a red rocket launcher, and I think maybe a red shotgun, and it just isn't enough. I cannot do, my guy just doesn't do enough damage to stay ahead of the waves. I don't know. When my son was playing it, I went into the settings and I slowed everything down, and he loved it. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to like make it easier. I want to figure it out. Like, okay, come on. There's got to be something I'm missing or a trick here. But it did seem like a lot of people were leaving reviews and saying you know, the final waves get a little wild. You just, it is a certain amount of RNG sometimes with like what kind of upgrades you get along the way. Knockback and slowdown with a melee build actually helps. Yeah, I definitely have been trying to use more knockback and the one taser. I might try to just consistently get a taser and level it up because that's supposed to slow everybody down too. Turn-based games are still great. Younger generation has a problem with them. I don't think so. One of the most popular games in the world is Pokemon, and that's turn-based at its core. Haven't played in a bit. Think I need to do a run now. Yeah, I haven't even unlocked the other difficulties. I'm just on the base level difficulty, and I don't know. Maybe somebody went into the settings and tweaked it. I should go see and just reset the default. I wonder if something's been turned up or something. It doesn't feel... It feels like you should be able to beat difficulty 0 with not really any major effort, and then it should get tougher and tougher as you add the difficulties. Like, I'm wondering if maybe somebody went in and fiddled with my settings just to be... Maybe they were just experimenting, like one of my nephews or something, and they might have been fiddling with something and didn't tell me. I don't know, because I've not gone into the settings. So, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 was hugely popular. It's turn-based. Yeah, I don't think turn-based is, like, disliked by the younger generation. This guy left a comment on the Space Marine 2 video. He says, been waiting 4 years since the leaks, and it looks all right. It just needs to play all right. That's all I want. Yeah, same. I agree. It sounds like you're missing some vital piece of information. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. I think I'm just literally getting to a threshold of I don't shoot fast enough and I don't put out enough damage, so you just get overwhelmed. The enemies just get too close. And even having a combination of melee and shooting doesn't seem to be enough. So I'll check the settings and just see if maybe one of them went in there and was fiddling with something just to... Maybe they were, you know, like I said, experimenting. It's possible. Possible. Or they were trolling me. They were trolling me. They're like, I'm going to go in and turn the speed of the enemies up. How much you would invest in Life Leech or Regen? I make sure and invest in both of those decently. I try not to lopside my character in any direction. So I try to do Life Leech. I try to do HP Regen. I try to do a little bit of everything. Maybe I'm spreading out too thin, and maybe that's the problem. I don't think the younger generation experience peak turn-based or action-oriented games, or more so what they might be used to. Well, I mean, I definitely think within the MMO world, Kingslayer, I think more people are going to be prone to wanting action-oriented combat versus the tabbed targeting. And I think one of the reasons is because it looks like that's what should happen. It's like, if I'm running around with a sword and shield, I want to have like the bink, swing, you know, stab, charge up, swing, slam, whatever. I want to see that happening. And I feel like tabbed targeting was... potentially, I'm not saying this is as like this is gospel truth, but I think generally speaking, tabbed targeting was a solution to technological constraints. You had to be able to log the damage output of the enemy and the players, and you had to have that client server resolution of these 3 people did this much damage, this guy did this much damage, and here's what happened in return. So that way everybody could have an accurate experience of what was happening. I feel like there were technological constraints that led to the use of tab targeting that action combat can now be had because we have better tick rates, better connections, better servers, and the engine and the server can work in tandem. So I do think that's why we're just moving away from that. You have 83 achievements in Brotato. You just checked. You have a day and 11 hours. Wow. When you die in Brotato, do you get mashed or fried? Okay, I'll see myself out. Yeah, you need to leave. We're talking about a bunch of different games at once. We're bouncing around. You know, New World, Space Marine 2 gameplay, Brotato. We're all over the place, dude. We're all over the place. I love the topic with Space Marine 2 as well. Well, we've been a little bit more free with the live stream. Once we started doing uploads, I'm okay if the live stream kind of goes all over the place. I don't expect people to come in and only talk about Space Marine 2 concerns that I have for 2 hours. I think that's unreasonable. Some topics we can definitely do that. We'll debate, I'll blink, and I'm like, oh, we got to go to members. Other days, it's like, okay, we talked about the main subject for 45 minutes or so, you know. People have been talking about No Man's Sky as well, so there's a lot of things going on that we could talk about. I don't remember details. It was several months back. I just remember usually I would favor lifesteal, get multiple of the same gun, and combine them. Yeah, I'm definitely combining the guns, for sure. Guys, make sure and take a quick second and smash the like button. Set your sights on 200 likes. We appreciate you guys so much being here. That does support the video and the stream. Space Marine 2 has some serious potential, but man, it's not looking good on our end. I've got people leaving comments, Kingslayer, saying that the Space Marine 2 leak, they got their hands on it. And they're like, it's actually good. They're like, it runs fine. Now, I think 60 FPS is an area where... Okay, I don't trust everybody's judgment of frame rate. I don't. A good example would be, I do a show with him every Monday, Kirk, from What's New Video Games. And if he tells me a game has good performance, I'm going to need to check on myself, because he thought Ronin ran fine, and he thought the one update fixed a lot of the issues. And I was like, no, it's still majorly hitching and stuttering. And he was like, oh no, this one version, this one mode runs so much better. And I was like, no. Now, I am like hyper tuned into frame rate. I've tested capture cards. I've tweaked capture card settings. I've updated firmware on capture cards. I've been doing this for a decade. And so I instantly notice if there's a frame stutter, a frame hitch, or a frame drop. So when someone tells me like, oh, I played it and it was running pretty fine, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need to see for myself. I don't trust other people to properly assess frame rate, because they'll tell me it's running fine and I'll play it and I'm like, no, the frick, it's not. It's like dropping in the 40s and 50s. I had people tell me that Jedi Survivor was fine on performance mode. They're like, I don't see what you're talking about. I'm like, there was egregious screen tearing and frame stutters and frame drops. And people were like, no, yeah, I played it. It wasn't that bad. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't, unless it's like somebody doing an actual tech breakdown and showing me frame rate. I absolutely don't trust other people, because it's like, they're not going to notice. Maybe they're used to 30. Maybe they have a VRR, a monitor that's hiding some of the frame drops from them. I just don't know. There's a whole combination of things that could make somebody's judgment of frame rate be inaccurate. So, I mean, I had people say that about Elden Ring. They're like, I played through all of Elden Ring. I never had a single frame issue. I'm like, yeah, I will never ask your opinion on frame rate in a game, because how could you not see? How could you not see some of those just entire game snags and hitches and stutters? It's there. It happens. It's significant, Or so everybody has different optical perception. Yeah, like they literally might not be able to see it. They quite literally might not even be able to see it. Like, they look at the game, they're like, I don't know what you're complaining about. It looks fine. It looks good to me. And I'm not kidding you. No shade. They're telling the truth. They can't see it. They don't see it. And listen, man, I'm jealous sometimes of people that are like, 30 FPS doesn't bother me. I didn't notice any of those performance issues. I'm like, I'm jealous. People that would talk to me about Final Fantasy 16, they're like, it's not that bad, I barely notice it. I'm like, good Lord, how do you not see it? It's bad. Yeah, the frame issues are bad in the DLC, Ashen. Some of those boss fights, it's like a slideshow once all those particle effects and elemental effects show up. It's freaking terrible. As an Xbox player, my eyes have been trained to be able to play 30 FPS. Get on my level. Lona, with your glasses, you can see the future. That's right. There's definitely times where you see stuff and I can't notice it. Right, and I don't even mean it as like shade. I genuinely wish I didn't see it. I wish I was like, what are you talking about? It looks great. Like, I wish that I could say that. I just, once you get your eyes attuned to checking and detecting frame rate issues, you can't turn it off. You can't. I spent a week trying to get rid of a micro stutter in OBS. I literally tried for a week to solve it. Is this not the No Man's Sky stream? What's good, Donnie? I thought about pivoting, and a 10 bomb from MASH bumps us up to 64. This man constantly carrying the member count on his back, but he's got some help today from Behemoth. Thank you so much, MASH. Yeah, Flintlock has a lot of rough scores. I see 1-8 in Shinobi's breakdown. Shack News gave it an 8. Everything else is a 7 and down. Oh, I'm sorry. Windows Central gave it a 4 out of 5. Ten bomb from MASH. That's right. Frequencies and all, more people should get the grip with physiological differences. There are many we can't even choose. Yeah, you can't choose your hearing range or any of that. You could always do the show about No Man's Sky tomorrow, since you now have the video and the patch notes. Expedition should drop tomorrow as well. 11 a.m. Central, IGN has new Star Wars Outlaws gameplay. Ryan Hayer does a single gifted and sets up the 10 bomb dunker. 65 out of 75. We'll see if anybody takes the bait. Anybody wants to come in here and help out our boy MASH. I got no problem with people with lower sensitivity enjoying things. I got a problem with them telling me I shouldn't have a problem. Yeah, that's usually where I get a little irritated as well, Zoob. I'm like, come on, man. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean that I can't have the standard of being like, hey, this shouldn't be happening, It would be like going into a room and they set up really bad and clashing colors with, their interior design, and you're criticizing it, and someone who's colorblind is like, well, I can't see it, so, why do you care? And it's like, your inability to see it doesn't mean that I shouldn't be able to critique it, Performance issues, inconsistent frame rate, that should be criticized when it happens. We should be getting consistent performance out of these games now. It should be a priority from the developers. It shouldn't be something that's overlooked. It's like those songs that sip into your mind. You can't unhear them. To be honest, some games give me headaches. It's either the color palette thing or a frame rate thing. I sometimes think it's an FOV thing, Takashi. You can give me perfect frame rate, but if it's zoomed in, like the FOV is shallow. I feel like it like messes with my head. I don't like it. Bad frame rate will mess with me. If I try to play a 30 FPS game now, I wouldn't be able to do it. I tried playing Tears of the Kingdom and I couldn't do it. I defended the game. I was like, listen, it's not a big deal that it's 30. It's on the Switch. I stand by that defense. I don't expect that piece of hardware to give me 60, but I couldn't stomach it. I couldn't take it. It was awful. Like, I held my son with Kane and Bridge of Spirits for like 5 minutes, and then I went back to it, and I was like, this is terrible. Wolf Saints with 10 months of membership says, my birthday's tomorrow. I'll be 30. Congratulations. Happy birthday. That's because people think that everybody is the exact same. Composition-wise, sure, we are all very similar, but the details do make a huge difference. The FOV in Concord's awful, unless that's just me. No, I think FOV is weird in that game. I think the guns eat up a lot of screen capital because of it. Yeah. The last Borderlands game DLC gave me headaches. I couldn't play it. Not sure what the issue was. Really? Huh. What do they call it? They did it. What was it, a DLC in Borderlands 3? I don't even remember. We have a large-scale problem of people confusing I don't like it with it's trash. That's right. That's correct. Like, I always try to make room. I'm like, if you're enjoying it, that's fine. If you like it, that's fine. Like, I try to make room for that. Didn't you used to have an issue with Vampire Survivors bothering your eyes? The first time I played it, yes, it was the screen flashing. I had to turn all that off. I also was sitting very close to the monitor. Like when I played with my nephews, I was back away from the TV, and I think I went in and turned some of that stuff off. So it's not like this constant like flashing. So yeah, Vampire Survivors doesn't mess with me now. You've just become spoiled. What did you start playing games until 60 FPS was a thing? Your assessment is ignorant. Number one, I'm not spoiled. My standards have changed, and playing something before 60 FPS was a common standard is normal for gamers, right? You've just become spoiled. Watch everything on a tube black and white TV. Watch all your movies on a tube television, black and white. You're just spoiled. What, did you wait to watch television and movies until you got a big screen, high definition television? Like, what you're saying is ignorant. Upgrading my technology, upgrading my TV, upgrading my computer, upgrading my console, and expecting better performance is having standards. Like, not increasing your standards is your own choice, right? You can decide and you can say, I'm fine with 30. You know, go play all your games at 1080, 30 FPS then. Don't ever increase anything. I want you to buy a really expensive PC, and I want you to play every game capped at 1080, 30. Because if not, you're just being spoiled. Like, you see what I'm saying? That's ignorant. People increase the power of their PC. They buy bigger televisions. They buy Blu-ray players, right? They increase their internet speed. Why? That's what technology does. It moves forward. And I move forward with it. I say, okay, this is what I expect now, right? Like with my cell phone, I expect to be able to use the internet and install applications and check my email. And that's not me being spoiled. I didn't have that when I got my first cell phone in college. It was a flip phone that I would send a few text messages a day on. Everything moves forward. And to act like anybody moving forward with it is spoiled or entitled, I just think is ignorant. Space Marine 2, didn't you know that half the Space Marines are now women? It was always in the lore. Shut up. I don't know who you're talking to. The people that were speaking earlier on Warhammer lore were saying that they were not women. There's a group that are, but yeah. I'm going to trust the multiple people that said it today, as well as some of the videos I saw. They were like, this has always been this way. It's in the lore. Somebody who played Space Marine 2 and an old build, I can assure you that the game is as fun as it looks. The gameplay feels great, smooth. You feel like an absolute tank, like you should be. I don't trust them on it's an old build. Yeah, I don't trust them on it's an old build. I don't think it's an old build. Oh, you were joking. I was like, what the frick? Yeah, I think it's a build from this year. Is 30 to 60 more noticeable upgrade than 60 to 120? I think that's subjective to the person. I would say yes. Going from 30 to 60 is like night and day. Going from 60 to 120, it depends on the game. Some games I wouldn't notice as much because I'm not spinning fast enough. I'm not turning fast enough to really notice it. You know what I'm saying? Now, some games, yes. If you're like mouse and keyboard and you're quick twitch, you're spinning, you're shooting, you're jumping, I think jumping 60 to 120, you would notice it more. Certain games, you won't notice it as much because you're just not moving fast enough to really see it. But 30 to 60, you can't convince me that it's not like a night and day difference. The game feels different. You feel like you're moving different. Like, you feel like you're moving faster. So, I like doing everything at 60 because it's easier to capture. It's easier to capture. Streaming is at 60. So, I just gotten accustomed to 60. Like, there was a time where I was playing everything at like 144 or 120. And it just caused issues with capturing the gameplay. So, I just got used to I'll just run everything at 60. And most games 90% of the games that I'm going to play, that's what they're going to shoot for anyway. They're going to shoot for a performance mode that gives me 60. 120 is going to be more rare, so I'm probably better off just getting accustomed to 60. You get accustomed to 120, 60 might feel sluggish, and it's going to be less common on console, not on PC. So 60 to 120 feels smoother. It's diminishing returns after 60. I think the diminishing returns kick in probably once you get past 120, because I do think there's a noticeable difference, especially mouse and keyboard, when you go up to 120. Yeah. I think once you go beyond 120, that's when the diminishing returns kick in. But again, it's just going to be subjective to the person, their preferences, what they're used to. It's also subjective to the game that they're playing. Like Ori and the Blind Forest, switching from 60 to 120, you wouldn't notice it as much. Playing Call of Duty, you would, because of the nature of how the game moves. The movement of the game, the way the frames impact your experience. 120 in a fast, quick-paced shooter would be more noticeable than like a side scroller, because the side scroll is only going to move so fast, right? The fastest Ori can run, that's as fast as the game's going to scroll by. A shooter, man, you can whip your head around like a crazy person, and then you'll notice it more, especially mouse and keyboard. So it depends on the game. It depends on the person. It depends on the play style. It depends on a lot. But I definitely feel like when you jump from 30 to 60, it's the most noticeable. It's immediately like, oh, especially if you jump from 30 to 60 and then you go back down. Hey, somebody ordered some coffee a little while ago. AOZ grabbing a triple threat and then 3 bags of dark roast. Thank you so much, AOZ. Guys, reforgeroast.com is back up and running. Indulge me just a second here. The website is just looking great. Creature did a great job on this. You can go to reforgeroast.com, okay? If you've never had coffee with balanced acidity before, our balanced acidity is just, it's such a smooth cup of coffee. And right now, the triple threat's the cheapest that it's ever been. You can get all 3 flavors, the light roast, the dark roast, and the Frickmas blend is back. Frickmas in July. So you can get all 3 flavors for $48. It supports me. It supports my family. My wife and kiddos bag that up and ship it to you. That's not like a sponsor. That's not like some company that we work with or something. Like, this is us. I've got it here in the house. It's in boxes. You know, you get little cool pictures from my kids and thank you notes from them. And thank you to everybody who supports the coffee regularly. And if you want to try it out, go to reforgeroast.com. Or you can use the coffee command in chat, which I will do for you. And there it is. Therapy Quantified bumps the member count again to 66, setting up the 10-bomb agent of chaos. Thank you very much, Therapy. Taking a game you played for a long time and then playing it at a higher frame rate is the key to getting people to understand. You have instant coffee. I do not. This is pre-ground, meant for a drip coffee maker. You can obviously do all of the other methods with ground coffee. Bushin Ryu Cat with a $10 super chat tip says, "Good day, Lono and chat. I got my last 2 360 games. Wet and Tenchu Z. You have thoughts on the Xbox Fire Stick deal on Amazon? I'm happy with my Xbox One console, but if it lets me stream to other TVs, I'd get it." Yeah, I mean, I think that the Xbox push right now is, it's something that many of us saw coming, so I'm not like shocked by it or surprised, or I don't really have a strongly worded opinion on the fact that Xbox is giving you other ways to connect with their ecosystem. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, the people that feel like this is like a big story and go make a video, go tweet, I'm like, why? Like why would you do that? Like, we knew this was coming. We knew they were going to do this. You can prove it's an old build by looking at current gameplay clips, and a lot of those features from clips are not in the leaked build. At the latest, the leaked version could be from back in Feb. I had somebody tell me that the leaked build had a 2024 date attached to it. So hearing that it's like, oh, it's going to be almost a year old by the time the game comes out, I'm like, game comes out in September. Like, you're not far enough into 2024 to claim that, but I hope they're telling the truth. I do. I hope they're telling the truth. I'm coming from Helldivers 2 and Arrowhead. They've been breaking the game and nerfing weapons every update, so I'm really looking forward to Space Marine 2. Helldivers 2 balancing forced a boring meta. Yeah, I feel like they just need to make it crazy every update. You just shift where the crazy is. You know what I mean? Just shift where the crazy is. Don't neuter it into a boring, lane. That's always the problem with balance. Balance is not the key. No. The key is to keep it fresh. Like, if you're nerfing and buffing, your goal should be to be freshening up the game, livening up the game. Balance is not the goal. Like, I think that's the mistake that so many game companies make. Your goal is not to balance the game. Balance is boring. Okay? Your goal is to keep things fresh. Oh, people have been only using these handful of guns for 3 months? Okay, we're going to nerf them. We're going to make these guns strong now. Oh, that's lame. You're just adjusting and making people... Shut up. You're going to play and you're going to switch your weapons. Just be quiet. Like, balance is boring. So you either swing the pendulum of power or you neuter everything into a boring lane. Which would you prefer? Or you just leave things alone and there's 2 or 3 weapons that you have to use. Do you see what I'm saying? So many companies don't understand this. It's like, how do you not see that that's what's kept Destiny relevant? That's what's kept Fortnite relevant. They've completely thrown the idea out the window. There's no such thing as balance. There is only the current meta. And you just make the current meta fun every time. And people will be okay. They'll whine, they'll complain, their favorite gun got nerfed, and they'll shift to whatever the new thing is. And they'll start blowing things up with that, and they'll start having fun, and you do it again in 3 months. Fortnite did it. Destiny did it. Some of your most long-standing free, live service games in existence have given you the key to the castle, and you're still busy digging the moat. You're like, well, no, let's try to have everything be balanced. That's a fool's errand. It's a fool's errand. Some people will buy that combo in a heartbeat and get us older gamers if they update local Stream My Games. Yeah, I mean, I think people just having more opportunities to connect to the Xbox ecosystem is going to not cause like a surge of interest, right? Like, what was the sales of that Resident Evil game on mobile? I don't think people who are engaging with mobile games are going to start suddenly playing console games on their phone through the cloud or Game Pass. I don't think people who right now are not playing games are suddenly going to become gamers because they can do it through a Fire Stick or a smart TV. It's another way for people to stay connected to the ecosystem. I think most of the people that likely end up using like a Fire Stick or a smart TV are already connected and already part of Xbox's ecosystem to begin with. You're just making it harder for them to leave. And I mean, why? They're supposed to know this. This is basic stuff. Yeah. I've not played Helldivers 2 recently enough to comment, but if that's the general vibe of the community, then the developers have made a fatal mistake of thinking that balance is possible or balance should be sought after. I just don't think so. No. Pick a handful of weapons, pick a handful of builds, make them crazy. Let them run wild for a couple of months, and then shift it all around. Shake up the boggle cube and let it all fall back down again and see what shakes out the next time. PlayStation had an app on Fire Stick for remote play and removed it to sell you a portal. That was never talked about because what you just typed isn't true, so why would anybody talk about that? What they did that to sell you a portal. Sure, Jan. On the phone with Resident Evil 7 and iOS, it requires you to have top-tier phone to play it, so that might be impacting sales. Well, it could be impacting sales, David, but I also just don't think there's an audience for it. I don't think people who are currently playing mobile games are like, dude, I'm just dying to play Resident Evil on my phone. If they wanted to play Resident Evil, they would be set up in a position right now to play Resident Evil. Like, I don't think there's this you're not wrong, David, but I don't think there's like this army of people that are on mobile that are just dying to play a game like Resident Evil or Starfield or whatever. Yeah, you can still remote play from your phone. Why remove it last year then? Paul, I don't know. But what you're saying is ludicrous because you can still do remote play. They didn't take away remote play and say you have to buy a portal. Your assertion is just bonkers, brother. Like, yeah, they took it away so that you had to buy a portal, except that when the portal came out, everybody just kept screaming about how it would be DOA and unneeded because you could do remote play from your computer or your mobile phone. That was constantly screamed about. Like, what a stupid device. What a waste of a device. They removed the app from Amazon? Like, that's a non sequitur. It doesn't logically follow that they removed it from Amazon to sell you a portal if you can still do it on one of the most common devices in existence, a cell phone. Like, way more people have cell phones than had a Fire Stick. I've got remote play on 3 different devices right now. Right, like, they didn't shut down and say, you can't do remote play anymore. We're trying to sell this portal. The app is still on Android and Google Chromecast. Right. Who knows? Maybe they had a disagreement with Amazon. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know why. Maybe they were getting bad reviews. Maybe the firmware wasn't compatible. Maybe, I don't know why they did it. But to be like, yeah, they did that to sell you a portal. Why is nobody talking about this? Because that's not what happened. They're one of those 4 people using it to buy a portal. Right. Now, if they would have shut down every other option for remote play, you'd be correct. Oh, yeah, they're trying to sell a portal, so they made it so you can't do remote play anywhere else. For whatever reason, they don't offer the app anymore on Amazon. If it's everywhere else, I would say maybe they got in some kind of a debate or dispute or negotiation breakdown with Amazon. I downloaded and used the app on my Google TV just the other weekend because my parents were out of town. There you go. I don't think that was the goal. Yeah, not to mention that, yeah, the portal ideally, and as it was marketed, was to be used in your house. Like, you can obviously use it remotely, but it gets its best performance when you're on the same Wi-Fi because it removes the latency. Maybe Amazon made a deal with Microsoft and told Sony their app can't be on the stick anymore. Yeah, that's another possibility. What Dave is saying is another possibility. Amazon's over here negotiating with Xbox, and they probably said, listen, part of the deal with Xbox is we can't have your app over here anymore. I mean, I don't know. There's any number of reasons why. That's why nobody talked about it. Like what? Like people buried the lead. Because that's not what happened. We can't even know if that was the motivation. And like Zubair is saying, again, a very small percentage of people were probably even using it. Come on, man. Come on. You're Paul, you're smarter than that. You're a sharp guy. You're a smart guy. You know? Come on, man. Have to go shower, have fun. I need some of that coffee. Thanks, sir. Hey, man, order some. Appreciate the support if you do. Appreciate you guys watching the channel. Let's get 13 more likes on the video. Let's do it. Let's get 200 likes, and let's get 75 members. Let's go. I'll give 5 more. We're 9 away. You don't even need to gift to move this number, by the way. If you're member plus or VIP, just hit that renewal celebration and it counts. It could also be that Fire Sticks are complete trash, says Creature. The Xbox app is only on 2 specific Fire Sticks. Probably has something to do with that. Yeah, maybe. Dave says, my Fire Stick kept freezing. They're trash. Yeah, I've never used one. I have a smart TV, so that's just what I use. Just run it off of the internet and watch all my shows. I feel like these guys get confused when they see the command for Reforge Roast. Shiny Red Flag does it. He renews. Puts some of those fancy emotes in the chat. That's a member plus. That counts. Takes us to 67 out of 75. Thank you so much. It probably couldn't continue to support PlayStation Remote Play on Fire Sticks. I have a Fire TV on the porch, and its OS is crap, says Eugene. Halvey says, I'm always getting gifted subs. Thank you, guys. I love being able to watch some extra streams when I have time. Also, great content, Lono, helping educate gamers on the latest corpo tactics. Thank you. Bushin Ryu says, Lono, I can use my Vita to stream games from both my PS3 and PS4, and no subscription needed, and it works out of the house. That's all I need. I'm glad they added the Wi-Fi login to the portal. They just need to add cloud now, which little birdie told me cloud for the portal was aiming at fourth quarter. It's looking like it's going to be next year now, which is a bummer. That would be a huge announcement to have coupled with the PlayStation 5 Pro to be like, oh, and by the way, we also have a $200 cloud gaming device. Like, that would have been a nice announcement. Rogue Necro hits 30 months on a VIP. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Hope everyone's having a 60 FPS day. There it is, another upgrade. I'm sorry, another renewal taking us to 68 members on the day. Thank you so much, sir. You would think that would be one of the best around for searching, downloading apps, watching different services, and having good quality output. I mean, is Amazon a software company, though? Like, it doesn't surprise me that their software is not, and their OS is not great. This guy says, Leak has no performance problems, played for 2 hours. Maintained 60 FPS. What is your PC setup? What's your PC setup, brother? This guy says, Exoprimal is an example of a game that looks great and dumps a megaton of enemies on you. Fidelity of Space Marine 2 is far above Exoprimal. Come on. Are we actually going to... Exoprimal does not look nearly as good as Space Marine 2. The game actually looks a lot like 40K version of the Demon Souls remake. Everything looks so shiny and pretty. Agreed. That's one of the reasons that I'm worried. Stone Spire with the VIP. Love the community and your content. Keep up the fantastic work. Takes us to 69 members on the day. Nice. Thank you so much. What's Sucker Punch saying about Ghost of Tsushima? What do we got here? What we got going on here? One of my favorite games. Today marks the 4-year anniversary of the launch of Ghost of Tsushima. It's been a wild ride, including Legends, the Director's Cut, and the recent PC release. We're constantly humbled by the outpouring of the love for our game, and we sincerely thank everyone who has played. We'd love to hear your stories and experiences from the game. Please share your favorite moments with us. You had a freaking haiku that made me cry, so there's that. Pretty sure Exoprimal's being shut down. He was just trying to give an example of a game that like dumps enemies on you, and I'm like, I don't think Exoprimal looks even remotely as good as Space Marine 2. Graphically, it just not even close. Gang says, if you're having a stability and freezing issues with your Fire Stick, there's an app you can download that you can use to clear the cache and close all your apps. It helps keep everything running. What's the name of that app, Ganks? If you're trying to help out the folks in chat, let's get the name of the app so they can get it. They can download it. Thank you all to all the new subscribers today as well. And Stone Spire bumps the line with a gifted. He renews his membership and gifts a membership. Takes us to 70, puts us 5 away, but now we're at 71. Stephen Marsden renews that VIP. 71 members on the day. Thank you so much. Renewals of Member Plus and VIP now count. And there's one from Gordon McLennan. He might have upgraded or he renewed. Either way, it counts, taking us to 72 members on the day. Thank you so much, Gordon. I hope the multiplayer aspect of Space Marine is up to par. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm hoping the same. I really, really want that that co-op to be good. 1 second, got to look it up. Okay, gangs. I've seen 60 FPS on Gears 5 and Forza 7. I'd happily sacrifice fidelity for frame rate. Devs should ask the customers what they want. It's one of those things where this is obviously something that I'm passionate about because I'm super pro 60 FPS. But it's something that if it's not a priority for moment one, then that's the risk, right? If their priority for moment one is we want cool lighting, we want cool graphics, and we want like 1,000 enemies on the screen, then they're going to work to make that work. Does that make sense? So like, That's the issue. It's like if it's not a priority from moment one, this is one of the reasons I have concerns. It's like, okay, well, you canceled your beta. We're a couple of months away from the game coming out, and you're like, yeah, we got to get this thing optimized. And it's like, that has all of the hallmarks of a game that didn't prioritize performance from the very beginning. It prioritized other things. Now, that doesn't mean they can't get things to a good spot, but it's a concern. It's like, I would like developers to start prioritizing performance from the very, very beginning so we stop having these situations. You know? I think that's fair. You know? Give us a choice. Right. Let us sort of be in control. Kumi says CC Cleaner is one of them, I think. The best thing about Fire Stick is it's open source. It's like having an Android phone on your TV. You can sideload almost any app. Okay, well, there's one coming as a recommendation from Kumi. The difference between 1080 and 4K while I'm playing a game is minimal, but 60 FPS is a must. I don't agree with you completely, Brett. The difference between 1440 and 4K, I'm like, okay, I can see it, but it doesn't matter if the minute I move, everything looks blurry. Like, no, who cares? Ooh, 4K, and then you move and it's like, bleh. The difference between 1080 and 4K, I feel like that's more noticeable. I feel like 1080 is like, when I played the PlayStation 4 version of First Descendant for like a day or two, it was noticeable, man. Like the icons, the menus, the font, you know, it'll shock you, but I'm a 4K snob. I just never expected that from you, Zoob. You just don't seem like that kind of person, you know? But yeah. I'm sorry to let you down. Yeah, I mean, it's just a little disappointing, you know. Thought you were better than that. If you're an Amazon member, you can get an Xbox Series XS storage card, 36% off right now, just cord and reporting. The Seagate storage expansion card for the Xbox Series X and S, 1 terabyte. Looking good. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima hitting its 4-year anniversary. I think we get Ghost of Tsushima sequel next year. Yeah. I think we get Ghost of Tsushima 2 next year. I think they announced it in September. I think they're going to do their showcase in September, announce the Pro. They'll announce Tsushima 2. I think we get Tsushima 2 next year. Discount for Prime Day? Yes. Yeah, guys, by the way, I have an Amazon affiliate link below. I have an Amazon affiliate link as well. If you just use the Amazon command in chat, that does support me. I almost never promote that, but if you're ever going to order anything on Amazon, consider using my Amazon affiliate link. It doesn't give you a discount or anything, but you know, it's every once in a while it's nice to get a little, you know, a little kickback from Amazon for you guys using that link. So if you're regularly ordering stuff on Amazon, be sure to, you know, come to one of my videos before you do and click on that Amazon link. You can click on the one in chat right now. I believe it'll save any orders you do in like the next 30 days. It'll support me. I've not mentioned that almost at all. I probably should be mentioning it around like Prime Days and stuff, for sure. So, probably don't mention it enough. But I would prefer to, you know, talk about the ways people can support through hitting like or leaving comments or subscribing, or if you want to support directly, we've got memberships, gifted memberships, and the coffee. But the Amazon link is very easy to support by doing that, especially if you're like my wife, you know, regularly ordering stuff from Amazon. Placed an order last night. Yeah. Sorry. Bad at making money. I get like, with what I do, I think when I streamed for like 8 or 9 hours or 6 hours, I felt more comfortable constantly kind of invoking a sponsor or something like that. But now, like, we're only live for like 2.5 hours, and then we're in public, and then we're live with members for like another 2. I just don't like doing that. I like the show to be a little bit more, you know, clean. Like, I don't mention... I mention into the AM when they pay for the integration, but I'm always wearing the shirts, and then I don't mention the glasses, you know. Okay, the app that Ganks uses is called Background Apps and Process List. That's a mouthful. There you go. So if you are trying to get an app to clear out and turn off apps and clear your cache on your Fire Stick, it's called Background Apps and Process List. This guy says No Man's Sky dropped a huge update, remade the worlds graphically. It's called Worlds 1. It's number 1 because it's just the beginning. I said, yep, feels connected to Light No Fire. If you can run a Plague Tale Requiem, you can run Space Marine 2, sure, but that game had to be updated later for 60 FPS. Plague Tale Requiem had to be updated later for 60 FPS, so not exactly the game that I would run to. It's not exactly the game that I would run to as an example. Mentioning it once would not take over your stream. We need to be aware of the ways to show support outside of memberships, since not everyone can do that. No, that's a good point, Sadiqua, because like people might be like, look, man, I can't do a membership, but you're ordering from Amazon, once a month or something for stuff that you need, or gifts for people or whatever. So that's a good point. Newer Fire Sticks are supposed to have an app manager already built in, but if you're on one of the older ones, you could use that app to manage your apps. Well, thank you so much, Ganks, for that recommendation. We appreciate it so much. Okay. We don't need to do this now, but one of these days we need to define run. My runs is not that guy runs. Right. Yeah, you can run Plague Tale Requiem. You're going to play this game. And it's like, yeah, sure. That's part of my bias. Like, I don't even consider PC. I'm just always thinking about the console because, like, that's just how I game. I made that shift. And because I'm not rigid in my commitments, I could shift again in the future. Do you know what I mean? Like, I shifted from Xbox to PlayStation as like where I primarily game and where I primarily buy games, and right? I consider that like my primary gaming experience. I still play my Xbox, right? But like a hypercharge with the kids, the hypercharge unboxed. But I'm not rigid. It's like, yeah, if in 5 or 6 years I feel like I'm better off on PC, I'll go to PC. Like, my allegiance is to myself. It's not to a brand. It's like, I'm just going to go where I feel like I'm getting the best deal and the best experience. And right now, that's where I go to get the best experience. That's like my issue with discussing games and difficulties. Right, you'd be like, that game's not that hard. And I'm like, what the frick are you talking about? Yo, a gifted member from Stone Spire. Thank you so much. Taking us to 73 members on the day. You're a centrist? No, I'm not a centrist. I'm a self-interest. Like, that's my position. I'm not a centrist. I'm a self-interest. I'm interested in myself. So if a brand gives me what I want, if a platform gives me what I want, that's where I'm going. Yo, another one from Stone Spire. I know what he's doing. He's taking us to 74. He's going to walk us all the way to 75. And then I'm going to owe another member. There it is. And I owe you guys 5 members. Nice, strong day. Thank you so much. That's why when the big console debate last year happened and I had people calling me a pony, I was like, it didn't make any sense to me. I was like, I don't understand what you're saying. I've always had every system since 2016. I think I've had like every single system. And in 2017, I had no problem just switching to PC. Why? Because that's what I liked. That's where I got the performance that I liked. I played Destiny 2 and Fortnite, and any game I could, I played on PC. Why? I didn't care about platform allegiance. I didn't. So 2017, 2018, 2019, that's where I gamed. And then 2020, I started shifting and playing games on my PlayStation. 21, 22, 23. It's like, oh yeah, this is primarily where I game now. Because I don't care. It's like, if you're committed to self-interest, then you're literally committed to yourself. You're not committed to a company or a brand. You're just going to go where you want. Like, I think that's why the brand fighting and the brand allegiance and all of that, I think that's why it always annoyed me. It's like, I don't align with your way of thinking. I think it's silly. I think it's ignorant and tribalist. I think it's self-defeating. I care more about myself than the company. So if a company's not giving me what I want anymore, or a platform's not giving me what I want anymore, I just go somewhere else. Like, look at Nintendo, right? I played Breath of the Wild all the way through, but as the years have gone on, and I've just gotten more and more intolerant of 30 FPS, I barely touch my Switch now. So, Switch 2 could change that. Why? Because I'm looking out for me. I don't care. I'm not like worried about hurting Nintendo's feelings if like I'm buying less games or playing those games less often, or, you know, covering their games less often. I don't care. It's like, well, I don't care. It's about me. That's exactly what a centrist does. They're only interested in what's best. Party lines don't matter. Well, maybe. I think what you're doing is you're applying it in the realm of like a centrist pragmatist who would say, we're going to do what's best. I'm going to vote for what's best. I'm being more of a self-interested consumer, though, because it's subjective to me. What's best for me might not be best for you, right? So that's why I don't know if centrist makes the most sense of it. I think you're correct, but you're also, I think, using the word outside of its realm, so it doesn't quite work as well. Lono's being diplomatic. What he means is cry harder, brokies. No, it's not even about that. It isn't. If that's why I said, like, I'm being self-interested. If somebody's best interest, if they're serving their own self-interest and their best place is $20 Game Pass Ultimate Xbox Series S, if that's what's best for them, then that's what they should pursue. But there are people that don't do that. They're pursuing the brand. They're not pursuing their own aims. Like, if that's why you're on a system, if that's why you champion a certain subscription service, great. If you're doing it for yourself. Like, when I played almost only on my PC from 2017 to 2019, I was doing that for myself. I wasn't doing that because I was like a PC Master Race ideologue. It's like, that was 3 years roughly, because even 2020, I still played a lot of PC. Like, that's just what I did. It's where I got the performance that I wanted. I didn't like playing Destiny on console because it was 30 FPS. You know, same with Fortnite. Fortnite also felt better on mouse and keyboard. I felt like I could get in, you know, the jumping shotgun fights and stuff. Are you streaming Flintlock tomorrow? I don't think there's a reason to. When a game gets such universal poor scores, I don't bother with it. Interest will plummet immediately. No one will care. The gaming market's too saturated. When games come out and crash and burn, like, if it's a game like Redfall, it makes sense to stream it. People want to see the car crash. Flintlock is already lesser known, less popular. That hurts it initially. And then it's getting terrible scores. So, hope Switch 2 gets 70. Gets 60 for Zelda. Oh, for sure. Because I want to go back and play Tears of the Kingdom. That's basically like on a permanent backlog until I can get the performance that I want out of it. You know? Every consumer is self-interested, and they should be. That's how the system is supposed to work, right? Which is why brand allegiance always made me confused. It was why I always rejected the notion. It was like, you know, you're a pony. And it was like, no, I'm going where I think I'm getting the best stuff, you know? It would be like when we switched from our Sam's Club membership to Costco membership. It would be like somebody getting angry because they really like Sam's Club and being like, you're a costy. We're like, what? Like, what the frick? No, I went where I feel like I'm getting the best deal. I feel like I'm getting, you know, better stuff. They have a lot of the brands we like at Costco. What if Sucker Punch doesn't make a Ghost of Tsushima sequel, but uses the game system to tell another story in another country? Scotland or India or even Korea? I think I would be okay with that, but I think we have a lot of signals that they're making a sequel. Bringing it to PC, connecting the two on PC. They're doing an awful lot of promotion, awful lot of talking, and September's right around the corner. I think we have a lot of signals that they are making a sequel. I would be okay with them doing anything else as long as it was a similar style game, because I think they did such an excellent job with Tsushima. The combat system was good, the open world was good, the voice acting was good, the story was good, graphical performance, all of it. The only thing I think they missed the mark on was a transmog system. I should have been able to look the way that I wanted. I don't like when a game ties perks to armor like that, because some of his outfits were just awesome and it would completely change your build. Sony's always looking for sequels. Yeah, that's another way to look at it. Sony really likes to do a sequel of a successful game. Horizon, God of War, Uncharted. You know, I don't think we're going to get one with Returnal, which is a bit of a bummer, but that's also a very different style game, so it kind of makes sense because it's a Rogue. But yeah, they do. They like to take a successful franchise and do a sequel, for sure. Dungeons of Hinterberg over Flintlock. I mean, that's a benefit to being a member. Sometimes I might get a little bit more, you know, free with a member stream and just decide to play some games, you know? Yeah, Last of Us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Knack 2, right? Guys, in about 9 minutes, we're going to go to the writer's room. If you guys want to bum rush, 100 members, we need 25 more. I'll do more than a 5-bomb. I'll give you a 10-bomb. We do these gauntlets at the end of the stream sometimes. If you guys bum rush it, if you hit 100, that's 25 members. I'll double what I owe you. I'll give you a 10-bomb as a thank you. Let's get that member count back up. Taking a break like that sometimes kind of slows it down, and you guys have really answered the call. Let me set up Writer's Room, which is a behind-the-scenes show that we do at the end of every day. It's available to members only, so if you got a gifted membership, you can come with us, and it's the ability to see how we kind of plan the next day's shows and the content and the videos, and it's a really good time. We had a good debate yesterday about PvP versus PvE that might turn into a video, so you get to see that if you're a part of those discussions. So thank you so much to everybody who is a part of the member pool, supports the channel directly with likes, subscribes, and gifteds, and renewals, and coffee orders, and everything else. This is an interesting stream. It was a bit all over the place, but that's okay. So Flintlock's getting review bombed? No. No, review outlets are just not scoring it favorably. That's not a review bomb. Yeah, it just is not getting great scores. You know, that's tough. The demo was described as clunky, you know, and I said, if that game, if the centrality of the game is combat and it feels clunky, then that's a bad sign. You know, that's a bad sign. Capcom game looks cool. Hope it's good. Looks like Fallout was been nominated for Best Drama at the Emmys. It's probably going to win a couple awards, I would think. It was really good. It was really good. Great team as always. Tell your wife This is your forever job. Oh, this is my forever job? Okay, okay. Oh, man. In about 7 minutes, we're shifting gears, guys. Thank you so much. Make sure and smash like. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. Make sure your noties are on. Your notification bell if you want to get notified anytime we do anything. Sometimes when I take a little bit of a break, it can break your notifications. I think to save Star Wars, Disney needs to sell it. Nah, you just got to put George Lucas back in charge. Just don't let him direct. Let him scope out story and shows and ideas, and then basically just give him Kathleen Kennedy's role. You got to get her out of there. If she is not removed, it'll never recover. You got to get rid of her. Cut it off at the source. She has completely ruined the entire brand. So, got to get her out of there. I don't know why she's still there after the frickin' movies, but he doesn't want to come back. I don't know. He might now. He might want to come back now. I'm just surprised after the movies they didn't sack her. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what... She's got dirt on somebody. It doesn't make any sense. Movies were so all over the place and so incoherent. She was supposed to retire years ago. I don't get why they haven't fired her. I just don't get it. Like, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't it all? Government game is mid and reviewed properly. That means it's being review bombed. Right. Put Jon Favreau in charge. Yeah, I think Favreau could take the reins. Yeah, not Filoni. Not after some of the recent things. But yeah, I think Favreau. You can put Favreau in charge. Get Favreau in charge. Let Bryce Dallas Howard direct the movie. Like, there's a lot of things they could do. South Park keeps on predicting. Between them and The Simpsons, right? Always predicting the future. He's 71? What? Any chance you're going to cover more about Star Wars Outlaws? We had the opportunity to be... She is 71. Goodness gracious. Get out of here. Like, just come on. Take the money and run. Recent things on Dave. He's proven to not be a good decision maker. I don't trust him with the franchise anymore. Not after the Acolyte. Hey, Lona, welcome back. What's good, Shelly? Will you be returning to Concord this weekend for the new modes or not? We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, and Star Wars Outlaws, I think there's capture preview things dropping. So, if you had a $700,000 job like hers, you'd hang on to that. Maybe. We all would. It's not just you. I mean, maybe. Everybody's different. I'm the kind of guy where, like, once I have enough that, like, I'm good and my kids are good, I'd walk. I would totally walk. Yeah. Like, if I suddenly fell into some kind of a windfall like that, where I was taken care of and so were my kids, dude, I'd freaking walk from whatever I'm doing. I've got so many passion projects I'd want to pursue, you know? But everybody's different, you know? Was that a blip or my phone? It's probably a blip. It looked like 20 or 30 people dropped and then came right back in. That's typically signs of a blip. So, all right, guys, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We're going to go to the writer's room. Thank you guys so much for supporting the upload and the discussion today. If you're not a member, be sure to circle back to the Space Marine 2 Concerns video. Leave a comment, leave a like, all those things. then Creature would run the show. Yeah, ruining Star Wars is her passion project. That's right. Check out the new Outlaws gameplay. Oh, did they drop the new gameplay today? Let's see. Star Wars Outlaws. Premieres in a minute. Ushin Ryu, welcome back. Thanks for jumping back in. Yeah, Mike, this Friday. I'm not sure. Love it. Been craving to get back in. I'm really lucky, I guess, with all my friends. They're all in on Concord. It's so fun. It's fun at all. Well, no, I'm sorry. It was fun. I don't think it'll last. I think it just gets boring very quickly. It's just when we won, it just felt like, wow, we ran around and team shot everybody. And then when we lost, it was like, wow, we had AFK players that weren't helping us team shot. like, you know what I'm saying? 30-second pre-roll. 30-second pre-roll on what? Did you get a 30-second pre-roll on this live stream? I don't run ads when I'm live. I add them later once it's a VOD, and you shouldn't get an ad until like 5 minutes in the live stream. No. All right, let's head over to Writer's Room. Let me give you guys a link. People are liking the game, not loving it, for sure. I don't think it has staying power. It's unremarkable and generic. That doesn't mean you can't have fun with it. Plenty of unremarkable and generic things are fun, but that doesn't mean that they'll last. So, all right, let me start Writer's Room. Thanks so much for being a member. You may have gotten gifted a member recently. Huge day today, 75 members. I gifted a bunch as well. So you guys are well on your way. You're on pace. You're just a teeny bit behind, but you're well on pace to hit 500 by the end of the week. We'll play a scary game on Friday night if that happens. And if we hit the stretch goal, then Madam gets to mess with me while I play the scary game. I'm going to end the previous stream about Space Marine 2. Whoops, I forgot to set up redirect. Let me set up redirect before I end the stream. That way the writers room can commence. And come on, YouTube. YouTube's been a little slow today. End stream. There we go. Robert Downey Jr. is one of the few actors that could win an Emmy and an Oscar in the